welcome back to the Boozy Bookworm. Today on the Boozy Bookworm, I will be reviewing The Memory Wood by Sam Lloyd. I think one of my favorite sounds, other than the sound of wine being poured, is like the hardcover, like it's solid, you know? And the wine I have to go with this book today is The Dreaming Tree. It's a Sauvignon Blanc. And quite honestly, I picked it because there's a tree and it's called The Memory Wood and it's a tree. So like I would give it a 3.75 out of 5. It is a little bit on, I would say, like the drier side. I don't mind dry wines, but I think I've been on like a really sweet streak for a little too long. So it's a nice to my palate, but I like it, so it's good. Also, look at how pretty like the inside of this is. Stop fighting me. There you go. That's pretty. It's bright, but it's pretty. So the book opens up with one of our main characters, Elijah, and it says day 6, and you're like, day 6 of what? And he is coming back from like a police station because somehow he got there. And fun fact, Elijah is a 12-year-old boy, and so you're like, why was he at a police station? That's weird. That's suspicious. And so we don't really know much, except that's what happened. And he mentions this friend of his named Gretel. And then we find out that his father looks back at him and is like, who? And he's like, oh crap, Gretel's supposed to be not real. And he's like, I have a pretty high IQ and I'm pretty smart for a 12-year-old. And so that's where that's at. And we also go on a little trek through the woods with Elijah, the memory woods as he calls them, to this cottage, and Gretel isn't there. And he's like, oh God, she's gone. And we're already like, wait, there was a girl in the middle of the woods and you knew she was there and she's gone, what? And so your head's already spinning. Then we meet our second main character, Alyssa. That's how I pronounce her name. It starts with an Elissa. That's not what it starts with. That's the whole name. So that was weird. I don't know why I said that, but that's fine. And she is a 13-year-old girl who is awesome at chess, really bad at making decisions. I feel this. I feel like whatever she's got going on with decisions is exactly what I have going on, because anytime someone gives me options, I panic. It's not because I'm scared that I'm going to pick the wrong one. It's not that I'm scared that like my choice, I don't know what the deal is. I cannot make decisions. Like I don't want to. Don't give me more. The more options, the worse it is. So like give me maybe 2 options and I can handle that. Okay. Anything more than that is like, it's going to cause my brain to like short circuit. Anywho, Alyssa has a chess tournament with her mom, and her mom and her just live together. Dad's not in the picture. They stop at this diner, they get food. The waitress is all really nosy and stuff, and it's like, is Dad joining us? Which, rude. But 2, she goes to this chess tournament to win. She goes out into the parking lot after a few matches to, I don't remember what she was trying to do, but she goes to the parking lot and then she's getting kidnapped. Classic chloroform rag over her mouth and nose, and so she's knocked out and she wakes up shackled in a super dark, pitch black, she can't see anything room. And here's the thing about Alyssa is she's 13 and she's already smarter than I will ever be in my entire life, so that was fine. But she wakes up in this, she doesn't even know that it's a room because she can't see 6 inches in front of her face. And she's like, okay, don't panic. This sucks. It's awful. But let's think about it like a chessboard. So she starts mapping out squares, because I guess the squares in chess have like numbers and letters associated to them. And so she's like, oh, over in G1 and F7. And I was like, girl, I got kidnapped. I am not about to be strategically thinking about anything. I'm panicking. So I don't know. So Alyssa's being held and she realizes 2 things. 1, she has 2 captors. One man that is what she calls the ghoul because he's mean. And she meets Elijah, who knows she's there because he's found her. He has a key to her cell. And so she at first thinks he's coming to rescue her, but soon realizes that he knows she's here. He's not trying to help her. He thinks it's cool to have a friend. And so she's like, crap, I am going to have to play this the right way because everything to her is a game. She has a manacle around her wrist. She like backs up or whatever, falls, whatever, and it like cuts down to her bone. So she has an open wound that is gonna get infected. Faux show. We also meet our third main character, Mariad, and she is the detective. It turns to her perspective and she's like throwing up and stuff, and like at first you're like, is she drunk? Is she hungover? Is she pregnant? Turns out she is pregnant. What I didn't see coming is that this poor woman has had 12 miscarriages. What Mariad is worried about is that this abduction of Alyssa might be linked to other abductions by this person. I can't remember what they were calling him, but basically he posts videos on YouTube of the girls and children that he abducts and posts it on YouTube. Anyway, the days drag on and basically Alyssa decides that she needs to befriend Elijah because Elijah, what she's realized is he is not as smart as he thinks he is, and she can't see him, but she knows that he is her best chance, so she's going to try to manipulate him. And she tries a few times and it doesn't work because he's like, you're trying to trick me. And she's like, well, yeah, I am. Because I'm in a cellar, in the dark, kidnapped, and I don't want to be here. She teaches Elijah chess because that is how she's going to bond with him. Elijah visits Alyssa, but also so does the ghoul. And so the ghoul is like coming in with cameras and tripods and stuff and lighting. And he's like, say what I have written. And basically what this man wants her to say is that her mom was a terrible mom and that she's happier where she is now, which is obviously not true, considering she's like sleeping on rocks and dirt and stuff. I can't imagine that anyone would be like, yeah, I'm willingly staying here, being that I was brought here by chloroform. Brought to you by chloroform. And while Alyssa loves her mom, she also realizes that she has to cooperate so that she doesn't get killed. So she cooperates and does the video, and Mariad receives it, shows it to her mom, and is like, this is what's happening. Unfortunately, we're still, at least she's alive. Fast forwarding a bunch. The second video of Alyssa's is published, and Mariad shows it to the mom, and the mom's like, wait. She's giving me a clue because we went on this trip, but all of these details are messed up. I think she's underground. I think she's in the woods and blah, 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 blah. Because Alyssa is so freaking smart. She's like embedding all of these like clues to her mom so that her mom will know, but no one else will know that the story's made up because it's not entirely made up. Only details were changed so that they can find her. This is where shit gets wild. Elijah comes back down to the cellar with a phone because he wants to play chess. And so Alyssa's like, oh my God, I gotta play this cool because like, oh my God. But it turns out there's no service. She kisses Elijah after she realizes in the phone's glow, it illuminated the fact that Elijah is not a 12-year-old boy. He is a grown-ass man. But because he's the mentality of a 12-year-old boy, he freaks out. All of a sudden, he's upstairs, and then fuel is pouring down into the cellar, and Alyssa's like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And that's the last of Alyssa's perspective that we see, because then we realize that the cabin's on fire. We find out that not only is Elijah a man, but the family that we had been interacting with in Elijah's perspective, the mom, the dad, the brother, because he has a brother, Kyle, who he's scared of. I am not a reliable narrator, folks. You are gonna have to read the book. If you haven't, I've already spoiled way too much. Sorry, but if you want to read for all the details, that's probably still a good idea because I left a lot out, if that's something. Turns out that the mom is dead. The mom has been dead. And so has the brother. And the piece de resistance is the brother's name was not Kyle. Elijah's name is Kyle. The brother's name was Elijah. Kyle has since had a lot of trauma and has adapted Elijah's personality to make sure that Elijah lives on. Because Alyssa had Elijah write a letter to the National Chess Foundation, Federation, I don't know. It was coded, and it was to her chess teacher, who, yes, is part of the place that she was trying to convince Elijah that was real, because it is real, but the place that she sent, it was her chess teacher. And so The cops come up, they arrest Elijah, or Kyle. Kyle is in police custody. Marriott is trying to interrogate him into giving more information. The psychiatrist comes to take him away because obviously he's not mentally sound, because here's the other thing that comes about is they find his last name, and Kyle is actually one of previous victims. He was abducted as a 12-year-old boy with his brother Elijah. He gets taken to this like safe house so that he can like recover and become better, but also be under like police custody where like he can still be interrogated and stuff for information. All of a sudden, his pa, or the guy who has been abducting children forever, now he's back in the hands of his pa and Magic Annie, who's another character that I never introduced you to. It turns out Alyssa's alive. Basically, Magic Annie and the pa figure try to pit Kyle and Alyssa against each other. Kyle stabs Alyssa, and then the pa shows up and he stabs Kyle like 3 times, and then Kyle starts fighting back, and then Alyssa stabs him, and then Kyle's like, yeah, I can still save her. Alyssa escapes. Alyssa's running down this hill, and Magic Annie tries to kill her. Basically, the cops recover her. She's fine. Kyle hops into the van that Magic Annie tries to run Alyssa over in, and then falls off the cliff into the ocean. Both of them die, presumably. And Alyssa lives, and she's like, did you see what he did? He said he wouldn't let me die, and he didn't. So, good job, Kyle/Elijah. So here is the breakdown. Cover design is gonna get a 4 because I really love like the black and white background with the orangey red accents. I like that the title kind of goes like a gradient down. It gets worse as you go through the book, therefore it gets darker as you go through the title. I like it. Here's the cabin. It's great. Characters are gonna get a 5 because the characters are freaking wild. Alyssa is actually a 13-year-old girl who is really smart, has a higher IQ definitely than I do. But Elijah, you go through 90% of the book thinking he's a 12-year-old boy, and he's not. Plot is a 4.75 because I love the suspense and all of the different twists that are in it. Like, I think that's awesome. It really hooked me from the beginning. It starts off like, who's the she? And then you're like, what do you mean she's dead? And then you're from that girl's perspective and you're like, wait, but she's alive right now. So what do you mean she's dead? And then it turns out she's not even dead. Ending for me is going to get a 4. I like it. I love that Alyssa is still alive at the end, at least that we know of. She probably went to the hospital and had like a whole host of issues. The book drop for me could be 1 or 2 things. It could be the moment when you find out that Elijah is actually Kyle and that the mom and the brother have all been hallucinated this entire time. Or it could be when you find out that Alyssa isn't even dead. Either way, it's gonna be a 4.5, which gives The Memory Wood a 4.45 out of 5. I believe I gave it a 4 on Goodreads, so pretty consistent. It was really good, but also kind of predictable at the same time. I don't know, maybe it was just me. Thank you for watching as always. And stay boozy, my friends.